I'd like to talk to you about how to start your project. So my paper is obviously much smaller than yours, but I needed it to be small in order to fit onto the screen. First thing you want to do is create your horizon line in your two vanishing points. Here I have it in the center of my page, but you can have a little bit of freedom moving it up or moving it down. The easiest thing to do is to start by drawing a cube. And you have 7 forms that you need to include in your design, and you could draw 7 cubes if you wanted to, and that's okay. I wouldn't recommend it. I think that adding a little bit of variety of different forms would make your drawing a little bit more interesting, but you definitely could if you wanted to. So I always like to draw something big. So I'm going to make a cube. And remember, drawing a cube, you draw a vertical line, then you draw lines back to the vanishing point on either side, because you want to use both vanishing points, don't forget. Just like this. So this one's on the horizon line. So now all I need to do for this one is just make vertical lines on either side, straight up and down. Just like that. And what I can do is kind of erase as I go. And of course, I can erase the horizon line now behind this cube. From here, you can kind of add some things to make this look interesting. And I can add a cylinder if I want to. Sometimes an easy way to add a cylinder is just to trace the edge of your ruler, okay? Because this is again on the horizon line, I don't see the top or bottom of this cylinder. So all I'm gonna do is round up the top and round down the bottom, just like that. I'm gonna fix this one. Okay, I could maybe make a staircase on this side of the cube by going back into space using my vanishing points. I'm going to build the staircase a little bit differently than when I showed you in class, but this is absolutely how you do it. And I can make a couple of steps going back into space. So that could be kind of cool. Something interesting. Some stairs. I could make a pyramid over here, maybe like a smaller pyramid. So I'm going to make the base first and use both vanishing points. 2 lines go to one vanishing point and 2 lines go to the other. For this assignment, you have to include 7 forms. You can include as many cylinders or as many spheres as you want, but only one of each will count towards your 7 forms. So now that I've got the base of my pyramid, remember you crisscross to make the center, to find the center I should say, of the pyramid. X marks the spot, make a little dot there. I can draw a line directly straight up vertically to wherever I want the point of my pyramid to be, and I guess it looks like it's going to be right there. Then draw lines to connect. Just like this. And finally erasing what's going on behind it, so that way it looks like a solid form and not like a clear or see-through form. When you're drawing your rough draft, it's important to remember to draw your objects really big, so that way eventually when this becomes a painting, they're easier to paint and it's much easier to change around your forms. So right now I have 1 being the cylinder, 2, my second form is the cube, my third form would be my staircase, and my 4th form would be my pyramid. I could add a circle by using a compass if I wanted to, and that could be a sphere. I could stack another cube on top here, and that would count as well. I can duplicate many cubes, and I could draw 7 cubes and that would count. I could draw 7 pyramids and that would count. Basically, I want to see you use mostly forms that use perspective, use the vanishing points. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could draw another cube down here. Just like that. This is going back into space. Vertical lines to cut off the edges. Erase a little bit. And then crisscross to make the top. Keeping in mind that you do need to show a form or examples above, on, and below the horizon line. So I definitely have some forms drawn below the horizon line. Now I need one more form to be drawn above the horizon line. This one kind of counts too, but in order to just show that, you know, I have an understanding of what the bottom of a cube looks like, maybe I'll throw in another cube up here. And then I have all 7 forms drawn using correct 2-point perspective. And then I'll throw in a background, and I've got a good drawing. I am going to have you draw 2 rough drafts. And the reason why artists draw 2 rough drafts is because oftentimes our second drawing ends up being the best drawing. And that way you have more options to choose from. And you can see this pyramid is kind of overlapping that, but I think that's kind of cool. I like it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 forms. I'll throw in a background. Maybe I'll add a new vanishing point right there. And I'm going to draw lines from the vanishing point to make the background look interesting. Every time I get to a form, I lift my pencil up. So it's going to look kind of like a sunburst coming from just this little tiny new dot that I made. And that's going to be like a new vanishing point right there. Let's see, maybe I'll add one right here. And you know what? I think at the end, I am going to erase my horizon line because I can do that at the very end, and my vanishing points. There you go. I have a good drawing made with 7 forms using 2-point perspective. I've got examples above, on, and below the horizon line, and I've got a nice looking background. Now I'm ready to make my second drawing and use maybe a different combination of forms to create some new ideas that could potentially become my final draft.